The UH-60 Blackhawks. Tough, respected, capable are some of the words that come to mind when thinking about this technological marvel. There's nothing more satisfying in the game than learning how to help your team by mastering the control of this helicopter to give air support and even rain down fire with its miniguns that absolutely shred for once. It is very satisfying to know that in this game the miniguns actually are viable. There were many iterations of helicopters going back decades that led to the creation of the iconic Blackhawk. Helicopters were likely inspired by some of Leonardo da Vinci's designs called the aerial screw, which would rotate a linen sail to create lift, but this was only really a design and was never really built by da Vinci outside of small models. They also seem to be inspired by an old Chinese toy, which was really just a T-shaped piece of wood that could be rotated in the hands and would spin in the air for a short time. The idea for generating lift in modern helicopters is surprisingly similar. It is the rotor blades that give the helicopter the ability to fly. The engine spins the rotor blade very fast, and the rotor blades are designed in a curved shape that will make airflow over the top faster, resulting in lower pressure, and the airflow under the blade slower, resulting in increased pressure. The pressure difference forces the helicopter into the air and generates lift. This works according to the Bernoulli principle, stating an increase of a fluid speed occurs with a decrease in pressure of the fluid. Newton's third law also affects the helicopter, stating that for every action there is a proportional opposite reaction. With one rotor, the helicopter body will spin in the opposite direction to the main rotors due to torque, and for this reason it's essential for a helicopter to either have a second main rotor that spins in the opposite direction, kind of like how we see it in the stealth helicopters in Battlefield 2042, or it needs the conventional tail rotor. These rotors counteract the rotational effect of torque. If they did not have this, the helicopter would spin uncontrollably. The pilot can angle the rotor blades to make the helicopter go up or down. They can also tilt the rotor discs in the direction they want to go, forward, backward, or side to side. The tail rotor is also used for direction as it controls the yaw of the helicopter, while also being important for stopping the helicopter spinning uncontrollably because of torque from the main rotor. Some helicopters can actually go upside down and fly using the same method. In this case, the pilot needs to reverse the angle of the rotor blades to create negative lift. This can only be done with helicopters that are designed to be inverted and with specially trained pilots. There wouldn't be a successful attempt at a helicopter design until centuries later after Da Vinci's design, when the combustible engine was developed. Many steam-powered designs were attempted, resulting in failure due to various issues involving power-to-rate ratios and torque. The big problem with torque, as I said, is that with a single rotor, the rotor will spin one way while the main body of the helicopter will spin the other. Later designs in the 1900s would result in variation of an early helicopter called the gyroplane, which would eventually end up with a twin rotor setup to reduce torque in 1933, designed by Louis Burgot. This went through test trials, resulting in an unfortunate incident where the helicopter crashed to its side, damaging the rotors. But with more improvements to control, we got the first controlled helicopter flight. Many advancements later, the first helicopter to be used by military was the Sikorsky R-4. This helicopter was a two-seater with a single rotor and a tail rotor, and became the world's first production helicopter and the first to be used by the Army Air Force. The initial flight was in 1942, and the main purpose was rescue and recovery. One of the first helicopters used rescued a downed pilot while in Burma. They were also sent to Alaska and to the US Navy and British Royal Navy. It was first used in combat in May 1944. A letter from Colonel Philip G. Cochran described it as an egg beater and that it has good sense. The max speed of this helicopter was 75 miles per hour with a 200 horsepower engine, a ceiling of 8,000 feet and a range of 130 miles. Years later, we see more improvements and a desire for a helicopter to push more advanced and robust designs. The Blackhawks gain a reputation for being a beast. This helicopter specifically started because of the need for a tougher, fast, capable helicopter that could work in different weather conditions and could improve survivability if needed to crash land. The American Huey used in Vietnam also shown the benefit of a helicopter platform for transport and offensive strategies. However, there was a need for helicopters that were faster, could hold more weight, and stay at higher cruising altitudes. In 1972, Sikorsky designed new prototype helicopters that would be used by the US Army. In 1976, testing was taking place in different weather conditions. During testing, however, one of the Sikorsky helicopters crashed in a forest. The rotor blade skin had come off and caused the helicopter to vibrate, resulting in the pilot opting to crash land the helicopter. Fortunately, no one was injured during the crash, but an operator did get a whack from a tree stump after leaving the helicopter. The helicopter was in good condition too, so that it could be repaired and used again. This displayed the survivability of these helicopters and contributed to Sikorsky getting the US Army contract. The UH-60 Blackhawk began replacing the Huey as the US Army's primary helicopter in 1979. The Blackhawk was designed with a pilot and co-pilot seating with windowed panels above, below, and to the sides. The cabin could fit 11 people with 2 sliding doors. A General Electric turboshaft engine sat on top. There were loads of variants. The US Army UH-60A and UH-60L with upgraded engines, the medevac version, the UH-60Q, and VIP models, the VH-60D Nighthawk, to name a few. The more updated UH-60M comes with some specifications of a max speed of approximately 183 miles per hour, with a 1,994 horsepower engine, a ceiling of 19,000 feet, and a range of 434 miles. Blackhawks have been outfitted with a number of different munitions depending on the mission requirements. The M240B medium machine gun that can put down 650 rounds per minute, a 50 cal for close support fire, 19 rocket MEL pod, 70mm rockets, and even with a Hellfire and JAGM missiles for precision strikes against vehicles. Could you imagine the Battlefield 6 transport having those? In Battlefield 6, the Blackhawk has been a main feature for many of the games from Battlefield 2 all the way to Battlefield 6. Battlefield 3 and 4, however, did not feature this. As for the transport helicopter, they decided to go with the UH-1Y Venom, which was a Huey helicopter. The design in Battlefield 6, I would say, is faithful to the original Blackhawk. The default skin gives it an iconic darker look, and it has a seat for a pilot, 2 minigun users, and 2 passengers that can use their loadouts out of the side of the transport. For some reason, the ability to use an RPG out of the Little Bird was removed, but thankfully not for the transport, so you can go for those air-to-ground or air-to-air RPG shots all you want. The physics and animations for the Battlefield 6 chopper are realistic, which makes it look cool, but sometimes it makes me wonder, when does the realism go too far and start affecting the fun of the game? For example, the slow maneuverability of the transport chopper has made it very difficult to survive in an environment where tow missiles and other guided missiles move so fast and are much easier to move. The amount of health that the chopper has is also too low, making it feel like it can go down way too fast. For something with a very limited attack capability, it seems unfair to have the health so low and with slow maneuverability. It feels like something that is not very practical for transporting troops into areas where there is a lot of heat, or to use as a mobile spawn unit. So it's important to have a balance between what is fun and practical and how realistic and aesthetic it is to use. There are some good things with the Battlefield 6 helicopter. Once you have it moving, the momentum is easy to predict, so you can control it better. DICE has recently increased the health of the chopper, so it feels a little bit more tanky, which helps. The miniguns are deadly if you are accurate enough with them. In most cases, you can have a lot of fun flying these in the game, or even being in the minigun seat. That is, if you don't get a pilot that thinks that the helipad is the side of a building. In summary, if they had more health and faster maneuverability, They would be a lot more effective at doing its job, which is getting soldiers onto the point quickly and providing a spawn location which gives your team a strategic advantage. Hope you enjoyed this little info dump on helicopters, the Blackhawk, and how it's used in Battlefield. Take care of yourself and see you in the next one.